My brothers and sisters, what is going on? This is Steel Sermon in the house Tuesday night with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Links are posted in the box down below. Let's talk about MVPs for a little bit. And it's a pretty appropriate time considering that the Super Bowl is coming up, which means that the NFL honors are coming up. And around this time last year, TJ Watt was awarded his first Defensive Player of the Year award. Really should have been at least his second, but I digress. He got his Defensive Player of the Year. And it got me thinking, so this guy won Defensive Player of the Year with tying Michael Strahan's sack record with 22 and a half. And he could have done it again this year had he not got injured. But now you're looking at a lot of other great defensive players like Micah Parsons and Nick Bosa, and they're both phenomenal players. I'm not taking anything away from them. But the biggest talk is about the MVP. Now, a lot of you people out there just naturally think that the MVP is, the best player in the game or the best quarterback in the game. Well, that's kind of true, but there's more to it than that. We're talking about the most valuable player. Okay? Aaron Rodgers won it back-to-back years in 2020 and 2021. Tom Brady's won it, 4 times? Are they good quarterbacks? Are they great quarterbacks? Yes, they are. But here's the thing. Are they as valuable on their respective teams than if they weren't on their teams? That's what you want to consider when you talk about MVP awards. Okay? And this is why I think TJ Watt, while he finally got his Defensive Player of the Year award, I think that he needs to be in consideration for the MVP talks because he is the most valuable player on the Pittsburgh Steelers. When his presence is on the field, it's there. The Steelers are a completely different team when he's on the field, and the Steelers are a completely different team when he's off the field and not for the right reasons. So let's take a look at this to prove my point. So TJ Watt, obviously he was drafted in 2017. He fell into our laps in the first round. And since he was drafted, the Steelers have a record of 53 wins, 24 losses, and 2 ties when TJ Watt plays. And when he doesn't play, the Steelers are just 1-10. It just goes to show you right there that when he's not on the field for the Steelers, they miss him. And the stats pretty much show it. The Steelers, when TJ Watt plays, allow a little over 20 points a game. When he doesn't play, the Steelers allow 26 points a game. And the biggest one lies here because the Steelers, we're known for being a sack-happy team. We're known for being a blitz-happy team. When TJ Watt plays, Steelers average 3.5 sacks a game. Pretty good. But when he doesn't play, that number's down to barely over 1. So right there should tell you all you need to know just about how valuable TJ Watt is to this team. And this past season showed it. Now, I'm not saying TJ Watt's injury was the entire reason that we didn't make the playoffs this season. I ain't saying that. There's a bunch of other reasons we didn't miss it. But TJ's injury surely didn't help out. Now, obviously, there's some factors to consider with why the Steelers are what they are when TJ doesn't play. A lot of people say, the Steelers played some tough teams. The Steelers played some, playoff teams. They played the Bengals. They played, they played Cincinnati. God, man, who did we play? We played some tough teams. We played Buffalo. We played Miami. We played New England. We played Cleveland on a short week. We played Cincinnati. It was the final game. It was the final phases of the first Bengals game in week 1. Who else? We played Philadelphia. They're going to the Super Bowl, you know? And we played Tampa Bay. While they weren't really good this past season, still, it's Tom Brady. So that's a fair argument right there. We did play some tough teams. However, we also took losses to some mediocre to bad teams as well. Like we lost to Mike Glennon back in the day of all quarterbacks. I'm not going to say Baker Mayfield's a bad quarterback. He's just a little inconsistent. But we did lose a game where TJ wasn't playing against Baker Mayfield. Mac Jones, he's inconsistent. But New England, they're a strong defensive team. They just need some woodwork on the offense. And then, of course, Zach Wilson. So, I mean, we played some tough teams, but we also lost to some mediocre to bad quarterbacks on mediocre to bad teams. You know? And I think, now that I think about it, the Browns were starting Jacoby Brissett, and they lost every single game when TJ Watt got injured in week 1 against the Bengals, up until we finally knocked off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in week 6. It's hard to think about it like that the outcome doesn't sway in our favor because one guy makes a huge difference on this team. The Steelers, in short, are nothing without TJ Watt. And it's a scary truth that that everyone just needs to accept before they cast their votes in for MVP when it's time to talk about the MVP for Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers or Joe Burrow or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or whoever. Basically, the MVP's become a quarterback award. But I think the main point of this video that I'm trying to make here is that people miss the point of what an MVP truly is. It's not always the best player in the league. It's not always, the quarterback that puts up the best numbers in the league. It's not always that. The MVP should go to the player on a team, good or bad, playoffs or not playoffs, Super Bowl or no Super Bowl. It should go to the player on a team that makes the biggest impact on that team. That's what the MVP should go to. Now, I can't remember the last time in my lifetime where a defensive player won MVP. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, I'm pretty sure the most recent defensive player to win an MVP was Lawrence Taylor, all the way back in the 80s. That's how long it's been. But my point is, the MVP should go to the most valuable player on the team that makes the team what they are, that makes the biggest impact. In my opinion, TJ Watt is the best edge rusher in the league. You maybe have you have a strong case for calling him the best linebacker in the game, and you don't have that bad of an argument for saying that he's the best defensive player in the game. And when his presence is off the field for the Pittsburgh Steelers, we suffer. And when he's on the field for us, this defense is as good as it gets. And the thing with us personally is that we don't really have much to offer when TJ isn't on the field. And it's a defense that in seasons past, where TJ's now entering his 7th season with us, it's that we average well below without TJ Watt's presence. And it speaks, and the 1-10 record, it speaks for itself. because it just shows just how valuable that a defensive player of the year on your team is. And it's in fact based on these statistics that in a quarterback league that you have to consider putting in a non-quarterback player in for the MVP. Because that's the biggest difference in distinguishing what the best player in the league is and what the MVP of a team is. And what the MVP overall should be. That's the main point of my video. Do I think TJ Watt's going to get MVP this year? No. Do I think any Steeler, for that matter, is going to get an honor this year? No. But in the future, and I hope this video, goes viral. I hope this video reaches to not just the Steeler fan base. I'm talking about the entire 32 fan base league in the National Football League. Make this video be known for future generations and for this generation now. The MVP should not just go to the best quarterback in the league. The MVP should not go to just the best player in the league. It should go to the player that makes the biggest difference for his team. And for the Pittsburgh Steelers, that is TJ Watt. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. This is Steel Sermon. Check it on out for the night. May God be with you all.